Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at MATIC. Before we jump into the price action, just like to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Okay, so Matic's got a bit of a strange structure going on here to the downside, and there is potential that that could mean that this is still extending out here. So we do need to be careful within this move, that we aren't getting some additional ones and twos in here, and then actually we look to form bigger structure to the downside where we're actually still within a bigger five-wave move. So I'm currently looking out for this. There are a couple of ways we were talking about it in the previous video, and we were talking about that potential of actually seeing an extension to the upside from here. But now that we've actually come down below this the low point here of this 1365, we can in that has invalidated that potential of further extension to the upside from this point. So what we're looking for is basically, ideally, what we'd want to see is a nice three-wave structure develop down into this zone here of this $1.0830 to this 0.8741, and that would be looking for this to have some continuation here where this becomes a bigger 1, 2, or an A and a B. So effectively within the structure we need to be a little bit careful as well, because we can also look at this potentially as a completed move where this is an A, this is a B wave correction, and then potentially this could have completed as a five wave move for a C wave. So we need to just be a little bit cautious within this fact. If that is the case, what that would mean is potentially we are looking for a deeper retracement down towards this 64.38 to this 43.07, so 43.01, and that would potentially then be in a bigger three-wave structure like this. Or alternatively, we could actually see a bigger five-wave move looking to push us down much lower into these ranges. But there's nothing confirmed within this yet. We don't have that structure, and really, we'd have to lose this key zone of support here for this to become more viable. For as long as we stay above this zone here, of this 74.77, we could still potentially look for continuation to the upside. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out within this. So technically speaking, we could be looking for the potential that, this could also then be a 1 and 2, and then a 1 and a 2, and then actually, we're starting to form a bigger five-wave move up here where we form something like this. For wave 3, we get a 4 and a 5, and then potentially that would look to take us up into that range where we could look at the impulsive target of this. But we don't really have that structure yet, so we need to see this zone is going to be key on this retracement here. If we fail to maintain this area, especially so as lowest we really want to come, if we're looking for a 1 and a 2, would be this 0.8741. That would be sort of our cutoff point. Not it doesn't, sometimes we can get a bit deeper than this, but once we start to cross this zone it becomes less likely. So let's get into the subwave structure now. So I have drawn this channel on here that I'm just tracking it down on. You can mess around with this a little bit. You could change it around and put it onto the bodies, in which case it would be a lot more like this, in which case, then you could have a look at it something like this. For the time being, I'm just leaving it as it is, and you can potentially pull it down to this low here, or you can try and connect as many points as possible, which you could get something smaller like this within the channel. So it's not perfect. We don't have enough confirmation touch points on the bottom, but this is just something that I'm keeping an eye on within this channel. If it does continue to remain within this, potentially then we could start to see different structure play out where we actually, form a move within this. We come back up for that, and then we get further rejection to the downside. So we'll have to see. Sometimes these can give us target zones for the future, and then we can look for those potentials. So we're going to discuss some of those potentials within this. Okay, so this was one that I was looking at when we were over here. So for the most part, this is still possible that we could see something like this play out, where we look at this as an A, this is a B, and then this is a potential C wave. So I'll be looking out for potential to form five-wave moves here, where this becomes a 1, 2, potentially we get a 3, 4, and a 5, which looks to push up higher into this zone. So, if we do get a bigger push to the upside here, potentially this 382 zone could be interesting. Also the 236, it's not on there, but if we take it onto this low here, that 236 would actually be an interaction with these highs over here. So, if we do get a move back to the upside here in a five-wave structure, I'd be keeping an eye on this zone, this 236, potentially this 382 and this 50%. Looking at this potential. So the only thing I don't really like about this current structure is the fact that this B wave would have been so deep, but sometimes these things can happen, especially if we are going to get a running flat where we actually just come back and retest some of these high points. Like I said, this 236 might be an interesting one if we look at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Obviously, if we're going to look for that possibility, we'd have to hold this low here, which would be at this zone, this 12, the 12, sorry, $1.1224. That would be a zone we'd have to maintain if we're going to look for this potential to push to the upside here. And yeah, I mean, I'd be keeping within this structure, I'd be keeping an eye out on these swing highs here. Potentially this one up here could be an interesting one if we do get as high as that. If we do break down like that, then we could argue that we get a B wave in this like this, and then we form a C wave to the downside. So this is something just keep an eye on. There is also the potential that we're just within a five-wave move, so we're going to discuss that as well. So within this, I'm actually going to turn that box off. Well, no, actually, it doesn't really matter. Let's go five-wave decline. So we were looking at this possibility previously, where we were looking at this potentially as a 1-2 up here, 1-2, looking at this as a 3, a 4, and then basically looking at this as a fifth wave here. So as an extension within the third wave of the fifth wave of the third wave. And then we're talking about that possibility that we had a fourth here. So there's two ways, well, there's a few ways we can look at this actually. We can argue that potentially we had this just as a fourth wave up here, and then we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 as diagonal, and then that could be a completion point. If that is the case, though, what we would be anticipating is to hold this $1.1224, and then to look for a start of a move to the upside here. So if we're looking at this as a five-wave move completed like this, what I'd want to see is a bigger three-wave structure, potentially coming up into the zone here of this 144.99 to this 132.21. So that's what we'd be looking for. Obviously, like I said, we'd have to contend with this trend line, some of these swing highs that we have here. We'd have to break above these points again. Otherwise, we could just continue to see extension within this. And what we'd have to be careful of within the structure here, for as long as we fail to break back above these points here, this 126.40, and even this one here, this $1.30, this could then become a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a diagonal. We get three waves up, and then we continue this sell-off to the downside, and then the extension would potentially then be somewhere else within this move. So we need to just keep an eye on this. If we do hold this 12.24, we could be looking for that potential where we actually come back down and we retest at 50% to that 786. So we're actually currently coming into that golden pocket area here, which would be this $1.1443 to this 114.25. So if we do actually move down into this range, we could then look for that potential to actually push to the upside. So given the current structure, we'd actually have to push up above this $1.2401 for a impulsive move. So that would then be looking at that possibility that we have this as a 1, 2, potentially a 3, come back down, retest the zone for 4, and then, look for that fifth potentially to break out the channel. If we do get something like this play out, like I said, we got to be a little bit careful because this could also just be a flat correction, and then we would get a rejection potentially off this high here, and then actually look for that continuation down. Or alternatively, we could then see a three-wave structure coming back down, retesting some of these key areas here, and then looking for that push to the upside in a bigger ABC pattern, potentially into this, or alternatively, we'd have to watch this move to the upside and see whether it does continue to grow and to sort of get a bit bigger here. But I would be anticipating a deeper move down here. I don't think this would be quite enough to correct this whole move up here. I'd be looking for that possibility of an A, B, and a C down. So that is the one way that I'm looking at this current structure. Obviously, we need to be aware that we can always get extensions within here. We could see this play out where we do get some ones and twos in here. Or alternatively, we could look at potentially that as a 1 and a 2, and then basically within here we start extending out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Then basically we'd have an additional fourth and a fifth within this. So the way that we'd be looking at it potentially if we have extensions within this would be something like this. And what I'd be looking for effectively here, even if we do move up, we could potentially still be within a fourth wave here, and this would be looking at this move slightly different. So what I'd look at here is potentially this is a 1, 2, then this is another 1, 2 within here. And then we would have to argue that within this third wave here, we have this is a 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, 5, and then we would be looking for that potential of a three-wave structure again. So it's going to be a bit tricky with this. There's a couple of ways of reading this move, so we got to just give it a bit of space. Like I said, we do get a move back up into these zones of these swing highs and this channel line. This could actually be a fourth wave, as it's shown over here. In which case, what we'd be looking for would be this target area of this 126.20 to this 122.76. So all of these options sort of point towards the same area, unless we actually just continue to sell off here and then we get this deeper move playing out. So we need to just be aware that these extensions can happen within the waves, and it's hard to count these subwaves in real time when they are extending. So we need to be open to the idea that we could actually still extend down further for this third wave, and then we'd be looking for that decent corrective move, looking for that fourth and the fifth. If we did move up into this zone, the target area of this, looking at this five wave structure, would be this 109.89 to this 106 zone. So, if we do break down into this range, we could look for this continuation down here to this area, and then we'd be looking for this additional fourth and a fifth potentially. This becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 down here. Obviously, if this is the case and we do get this extension down here, this fourth wave might not have the power to get right up to this 50% zone. It might only look to target out that 382 to that 336, and then look to push us down into this zone. So the idea with these, both of these five wave moves, whether it gets extended a little bit more down there, or it is just the regular version, which we're looking at this, is once we do complete it, we'd still be looking for that B wave up, and then that potential C wave to the downside. In my opinion, that would give us a bigger corrective structure here that could then look to tie in with this potential of this looking for continuation up. Well, like I said, though, we need to be a little bit careful. If we start to lose this 87.41 area, it becomes less likely, and complete invalidation of this would actually come by losing this low point here of the 74.93. Losing that 74.93 would invalidate further impulsive structure to the upside, and then we'd have to look for that possibility that this is that C wave to the downside, which it could potentially because there's a couple of ways. It really is messy, this section in the middle here. We could look at this potentially as a flat like this, where this is an A, this is a B, and then we're going to get a C. So we'll have to keep an eye out on the 6438 to this 43001 zone. If we do break down into this zone again, that could be a potential zone we could look to reverse from. And like I said, then this would be an A, this would all be a B and a C. The problem is it starts to become disproportionate if that is the case. You could also potentially argue you get something like this as an A, this is a B, and then we look for that C wave. There's a couple of ways of reading this at the moment, so it really is choppy, but there is still also that potential we could break lower. So we're going to just take this sort of one step at a time and see how the waves actually develop. A bigger move up here, whether that's from this current location here, or if we do get that move up and then break back down, what we'd be still looking for, in my opinion, is coming back up and potentially retesting some of these key zones, and then looking for that push back to the downside, potentially lower down into this region. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as it develops. Um, if we are just looking at this as that ABC structure, we also need to be aware that, if we do get this is a flat here, where this becomes an A, this becomes a B as a flat, and then we get that C wave down, that technically could be enough to correct us in price. Time-wise, it would be very short, but sometimes these things do happen. And yeah, we'd have to keep an eye on this sort of this area. If we do move down here, this could be a zone that we could find support and then look to rally from. So we'll have to keep an eye on this 108.30 to this 87.41. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Also in the description, you will find affiliate links for Primex, BT, and BYBIT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out if you don't have an account. Using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take